You know, it's kind of sad, really. I'm just sitting here watching gameplay footage of this game. It looks so cool. The dungeons are so intricate and well made. The graphics are neat. But it's just not worth it. Ugh, let's just not waste any time. Continuing part 2. Blizzetta. Now, I have to admit I'm a little biased because I hate fighting bosses that are mind control allies turned evil. Can't stand it really just when you beat them and they just go back to normal. I guess I just like to see bosses blow up after they die, I don't know. And I have to admit, out of all the crappy bosses in this game, this one is actually the best. Not only is it the best boss though, it's actually the best point in the whole game. And hear me out. You're trapped in a room. The floor is completely frozen, so it's really slippery and you can fall, and there's icicles landing on top of you. After, you have to use a giant mace to hit the icicle back and forth so it doesn't hit you. It's pretty cool in itself, but the music actually adds to this. To me, the music feels like it reflects the franticness of the whole boss fight itself, with all the icicles falling on you. You're not being able to avoid them because of the frozen ice, and this thing's spinning at you at the same time. It's pretty cool. I guess you could say I felt immersed. And then after you beat the boss, you get this scene. This scene is the most heartwarming scene in the entire game. I can't express the amount of emotion the game lacks as opposed to this one little scene right here. I mean, let me actually break the whole thing down for you. The entire level takes place in the Yeti's house. It's a big mansion up in some frozen mountain place. And as soon as you go in, you don't really think it's a dungeon. You think it's just a house, but then you realize it's actually the dungeon that you have to go through. So you run into the Yetis. The guy Yeti is just chilling there, just cooking something for his wife, and she's sick, and that's really all I need. He's just trying to make her feel better by giving her soup. Then after the boss fight, he sees her slain on the ground, and he screams and he runs over to her. No! This is the kind of moment where you go, yeah, that was the same reaction everybody had, even if they don't want to admit it. But let me show you something so you can kind of understand a little better where I'm coming from. Let's look at the character in general. First, we have Link. He's the avatar for the player. He's supposed to be your everyman, which is why he doesn't talk. He's angry / tough when he needs to be and makes a confused face for every other emotion.
Yeah, Link, plumbing's backed up. Link, Leon's been kidnapped. Michael Bay is directing the new Ninja Turtles movie.
I don't know about you, but that actually throws me out of the game every time I see it. It's like the whole story about Zelda is about a guy that needs to save a girl from an evil pig. This works when that's the story, but when you try to give other characters and have them talk, just him making a face like this kicks you out of the game. It just does. Because that's not how a normal person would act. In fact, do you remember how expressive Link's face was in the Wind Waker? I remember reading in the instruction manual that Link would always look at what was important at the moment to him. You know, like, if there was a puzzle you were on, he'd look at exactly where you need, at least in the direction where you need to go, or he'd look at the object that you needed to do. I thought this was cool because I constantly look at Link's face as a way of getting a tip on a difficult section. It would actually help me out. Not only was it subtle, but it was also immersive because Link became a character through this. He had expression. He'd look at things a little weird when it was weird, and he'd laugh like a kid, you know? This Link, on the other hand, he doesn't emote his face very well. He looks weird, like he's not really there. And it's fascinating because this is a realistic Zelda, and it's something you can only truly understand from playing this game. When he talks to other people, he feels like he's not even there. Kind of like what women say about being on a date with a guy who isn't really listening to them. And then we have Zelda. She's trapped in a tower. She tells Link exposition. And then she dies. And then she comes back. That's it. More on her a little later. And then we have Midna. She's kind of a dick throughout most of the game and uses Link for her own means. until she's dying and Zelda has to die to give off her life force so Midna can live, and then she has a change of heart? Am I expected to feel bad for this thing? I know absolutely nothing about her except she was turned into this little thing and she's using me and she gives out really useless information. And really, it takes someone to die for you to realize how selfish you're being. And why is she so selfish anyway? She's supposed to be a queen from another dimension, and isn't the goal here for me to sympathize with her? If she's such a dick and selfish, then does that mean that she's a really bad ruler in the Twilight realm? It would make sense that a really kind ruler that loved his people would love people of all different kinds, so I can only imagine that back in the Twilight realm she was a complete dick. And to think that some people actually say she's one of the more interesting helpers. People complain about Navi, and I have to stick with this asshole? Give me a break. And then there's Link's childhood friend, Leah or something, who's implied to be a love interest to Link, but only serves to get the plot in motion. This is for that 2-hour tutorial on that ranch! And is forgotten about later in the game. Really, why is she even there? Isn't Zelda supposed to fill that role? And the game is called Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess. You'd think that she'd at least take the number 2 spot in all this, but no, she's just thrown in there. And then we have Zant. His backstory is that ages ago, the Hyrule royal family locked his people away because they were doing bad stuff with dark magic. He went crazy. From serving them, and so now he wants to take over the kingdom and rule the universe himself along with his people. It's cool. It's backstory, you know, actual motivation. Later on, when we find out that Ganon was actually just using him and he's the real bad guy, anything interesting about him is just completely thrown out the window. It's like, why even put this character in the game? Just make it Ganon. Get it out of the way. Everybody knows it's coming. Why build up this character so much if he was really just a pawn? It doesn't matter. And those are pretty much all the main characters of Twilight Princess. Not gonna talk about these stupid circus animals because they're pretty much useless. The people are all super deformed for some reason. What's wrong with his face? You think Midna has something to complain about? Look at this kid. He's human. Dude. Right, anyway, aside from worrying about this kid's surgery to reconstruct his face, every character in this game is completely pointless and you don't care. So that's why the whole scene with the Yeti, yeah, like 10 minutes back, is so much more interesting than anything else in this entire game. Point in case. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. At this point, I was just playing the game just to finish it. I had gotten this far already. This was maybe 38 hours. So I was pretty pissed. That little section didn't really save the game, but I don't know. So they give you this really cool homage to the Temple of Time, but for some reason they give you the Deku Tree music in the Temple of Time. Anyway, so you get to the boss, and it's this giant-looking spider. It looks cool. All the bosses in this game look cool. But here's the problem. Can you tell where the weak point is? Oh my gosh, this boss let me down. I hated this thing. So you're stuck in this giant room. There's 4 statues in each corner. You have to wait till the boss tries to shoot a laser at you, to which you knock it down with your bow and arrow, and then you get the rod, and you hit the rod and it slams the spider down. Rinse and repeat. This is the dumbest boss in the game. Why? Well, they ruined the Queen Goma battle. Completely ruined it by somehow making it twice as easy, okay? Its laser will never hit you. In fact, you're actually supposed to hit it before it hits you. Look at how long this takes. Are you kidding me? Dude, this is like the 7th boss in the game. Anybody could have completed this adventure. That guy could have. Oh, it's gonna shoot his little babies at me. It's little babies. I killed them before they hatch. Seriously, you can kill them before they hatch. So, if you don't think this boss is a complete joke, then after you technically beat it, after 2 strikes I think it was, this happens. Yeah, seriously, this is my reward for going through that dungeon. Seriously? You said this game was for adults. 9.5. What? It spends most of the time just walking around the ceiling thinking about what to do. Should I shoot him with my laser? No, he'll hit me. Should I shoot my little babies? No, he'll kill them. Maybe I should just shoot my laser. Yeah. Someone actually told me while making this is that there were fanboys that complained that the Wind Waker was too hard. That would explain everything about what I hate about this game. Everything. Hey, did you guys check out that new Zelda game, Twilight Princess? It's a new adult Zelda. Yeah, forget about that Wind Waker game. That game's for kids. We need to play this game. This game is for adults. It's dark. It's really dark. Right? Have you played it? So if you like this video, want to see more, or if you just hated it, don't forget to subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Part 3 coming soon.